Yeah.
We're live. Yeah.
I'll just check on Twitter very, very quickly. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Hi, Bart. How are you doing?
Hey, Aditya, I'm good. How are you?
All good, all good. Uh,
Yeah.
just busy day, busy week. I think January was a month that went by so fast. A lot of people have just been saying that, fuck, it's already a month, or rather, it was rather a month that went by so slow. I think because so many things
Yeah.
happened. The
Was
general consensus was that fuck, it's still January, and now
yeah.
we're already 6-7 days into February.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think, it took some time, like the first week to pick up the pace again, but then all of a sudden, a lot of things started moving and January became really busy. But yeah, it was a long month, but I think a good month. So and now February, let's see what's next. So yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a long month for pStake. I think a lot of things that happened, which is why we want to welcome everyone to the first community call for pStake of the year. So this is something that we're starting as a new activity to have a very quick 15-20 minute chat with Bart here and essentially go through what the previous month has been like, what were the biggest wins, what were some things we should be improving on, community feedback, and basically being more vocal and transparent about how things are going.
Mm.
So how we'll start off this stream basically is that we'll summarize the month for everyone, like how January, the previous month, every time. So for this stream, will be January 25. What were three biggest wins in that month? Just touch upon the long-term goals for pStake, and also get some alpha maybe from Bart about what's coming in the next month, which is in this case February 2025. With
Yeah,
that, I think we can
perfect.
get started. Welcome everyone that's new and old to pStake. Maybe Bart, you could quickly introduce yourself and also pStake for someone that might be tuning in for the first time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so pStake is a predominantly liquid staking protocol. We've been around for a couple of years. Initially, we focused on majorly on assets in the Cosmos ecosystem. But also we created liquid staking for BNB. But in the last year, a little bit more than a year, we've really kind of pivoted towards Bitcoin, where we decided like actually this is the asset that we really like, and we saw the opportunity that we could create an LST for Bitcoin on staked into Babylon, and kind of capitalized on that and really sort of went all in. So for us, this has been a very good move. So we're just expanding now on this kind of transition into Bitcoin, and yeah, that's kind of what we do. So liquid staking for Bitcoin in short. And myself, I'm the chief strategy officer at pStake. I've been working here for a couple of years now, almost 3. It's been a great journey. I think we're excited for what's coming next. My background is in engineering, but I've done like different things in life. But I'm happy that I finally landed in crypto, from dabbling into it like for many, many years, and now finally like, working in it full time, which is perfect. So yeah.
Awesome. Before actually getting started, I know you worked in AI before. Very quickly,
Yeah.
how do you feel about intersection of AI and crypto?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great actually that crypto is sort of embracing the whole AI movement, because it is definitely bleeding edge, which crypto has always been, and blockchain sort of as a whole. So I think that there is a lot of kind of synergies in that sense. I'm curious where it's all gonna go, but of course, like AI is incredibly disruptive, right? So I mean, in my opinion, in a good sense, but remains to be seen. But I'm very excited to take this to the next level. Like in my background, I did work in AI, but it was more on the healthcare side, where we were using AI to detect the disease essentially. So which is still a big thing. But I think AI just like expanded its use cases like beyond like whatever we thought was possible. So yeah, I'm pretty excited that crypto and AI have this intersection. So we also introduced something recently where we have an AI agent working for us now. So we can talk about that maybe later. But we're also part of kind of the movement where we, at pStake, we also see like, okay, this is great. Let's just do something with this. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely talk about that later on. But to begin with, let's just summarize how Jan was overall very quickly. Maybe we can touch upon multiple things like product side of things, the marketing or community side of things, and any also the bigger wins in the month very quickly. So starting off, we start off the year and the month, just reflecting back on how the year previously was, which is 2024. I think it was a very pivotal year for pStake because for those of you who don't know pStake, we've been around since 2019. We were the very first liquid staking protocol in Cosmos, and rather one of the first liquid staking protocols ever. And we've been through a journey wherein we've focused on multiple ecosystems. But 24 was when we had the opportunity and the chance to build on Bitcoin, which felt like a long time coming in all these years of building liquid staking. So we started off the year with a quick reflection of how things were. So to summarize 2024, we had the product launch on top of Babylon. We reached $35 million plus in Bitcoin deposited with pStake. We were covered in Binance research as part of the BTCfi ecosystem. We had integrations with a lot of Bitcoin wallets, which includes projects like Binance, OKX, Bybit, BitGet, Unisat, Ledger, as well as Ledger. So this comprises a lot of options for institutional users to stake BTC. We were actually the top BTCfi mindshare project on Kaito. I think since then it's been a bit of a struggle for BTCfi, I think, to kind of get into a strong narrative, but I think that can happen pretty soon. We launched pStake staking on Base, which is one of the first such token utility wherein people can stake pStake to earn CBBTC on Base directly. And at the very end of the year, last week of December, I think pStake, the token, was the first BTCfi token to go live on Binance Alpha. And for those of you who don't know, Binance Alpha is kind of like a spotlight for the top high potential growth ecosystem projects, as well as a pre-listing pool for Binance. So it's a pretty busy 2024 overall, and I think we've seen the growth, we've seen the milestones as well as achievements since the move to Bitcoin. It was very pivotal, right? But maybe you can talk about the move to Bitcoin, but from a product perspective in Jan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's definitely been the right sort of decision for us to do that. Like, all of us at pStake, we've always been sort of very much convinced about Bitcoin, and that's for most of us was the reason how we started with crypto or journey. So that all kind of made sense, and then to build products around Bitcoin was even better, right? So recently we after kind of creating the staking kind of module where people can stake with us into Babylon. And then, now we recently launched YBTC for institutions, so the LST, which they then can kind of use into various DeFi applications. That's kind of like a big thing. We started this last week, I would say, and now we're sort of ongoing with the integration. So this is kind of more of a custom built LST where we work with institutions or like larger kind of partners to create these integrations up to them, right? So if they say, okay, we really want to sort of partner with this kind of protocol, with this is what we want to do with our LST, then we kind of facilitate this integration. So it's a very kind of customized approach, which is working for us, and also like the institutions are quite happy about that. Kind of along the same lines, we have a partnership now with Layer 0. So Layer 0 to move YBTC around. So they're using the OFT standard. Essentially what this is that you eliminate kind of the need for wrapped versions, like any kind of different wrappers to move assets around. So that's basically abolished because of this. So it's crucial for tokens like, let's say, USDT or a YBTC or staked ETH, for example, that you can kind of move this without too much friction, right? So, and being best in class and having this kind of flywheel where more and more adoption of this OFT standard kind of brings in like larger players. So for us, it really made sense to, that this becomes like the default choice for moving YBTC around. And aside from kind of the LST part, like we've hit a few milestones for pStake. So we created a staking product for our pStake token. Reason is that we wanted to do something where we could get closer to the community by asking them to do certain tasks and like asking them for feedback, like certain kind of interactions that we do, and in return we created the staking mechanism where you can basically lock up your token and then you can earn rewards in the form of CBBTC. So we started with 5 million pStake tokens, and now we're already at 9.8 million tokens staked. So we'll have to increase the cap. So this is definitely going in the right direction. So we are quite happy about that. So good progress for all our products, essentially.
Yeah, I think sets a good precedent for the year to come, right? We've had a big launch, we've had a solid partnership, we're growing on
Yeah,
the token side as well. Sets the perfect foundation for a strong Q1 and the year beyond as well.
that's the plan. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
doing okay. So
yeah,
happy. Yeah,
yeah. Only up only from here on. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think we also kickstarted a bunch of stuff on the marketing or community side. Maybe I can touch on that very quickly, just to summarize, the various activities that we're doing. So, for those of you who don't know, we do a weekly live stream here on Twitter. That's called Stacking Sats with pStake. So that's essentially an hour where Bart and I just chill with one of our partners or just an ecosystem member in the Bitcoin space, and we just just sit and yap. Honestly, that's what we do. We try to learn as much as possible from these people, get some alpha, and as well as grow the Bitcoin ecosystem. So this rather in the month of Jan, we did two such streams. One was with our partner Layer Zero, where we talked about a lot on the Bitcoin interoperability side and why the Layer Zero partnership, as Bart mentioned, made a lot of sense for pStake with our focus on institutions only. And the second stream we did was with a project called Layer Edge, who's currently live on testnet, and that builds on top of Babylon. What they do is basically try to scale the Bitcoin network directly. So a healthy mix of projects there. We also resumed our guest blogs. So in case again, if you don't know, we do Twitter articles almost bi-weekly or weekly, wherein we invite again a guest from the Bitcoin ecosystem to kind of share their unfiltered thoughts about BTC, BTCi, the narrative, the ecosystem, how things can scale, and what they're working on. So in Jan, we had two such blogs or articles go out on Twitter. One was with ELI5 DeFi. For those of you who don't know, he is like one of the OG content creators in the space. So when I started off in like 2020, he was like one of the first accounts that I followed. So it was really great to have him come in and share his thoughts on this upcoming narrative, which is BTCfi. And just yesterday, we posted another article with Citria. Citria, for those of you who don't know, is the first Bitcoin roll up with ZK Tech. So what they talked about was how Bitcoin can scale so that BTCfi can become a strong narrative or a strong play in the future. Those are some community activities or marketing activities we kicked off. I think somewhere between the month we also had uh, the top yapper on CT for quite some time, which is AIXBT, the AI account. Mentioned pStake in context of I think it was something to do with staking. So that's always nice to see that pStake is still having that strong mindshare in a time when BTCfi is just starting to cook about. And then lastly, we did some Chinese New Year campaigns on platforms like TaskOn, as well as on Galaxy with partners such as Rooch Network and Avail as well. So those were a lot of things happening on the community and the marketing side. And as always, we're most active on Telegram. So if you are someone that's interested in pStake, a token holder, or someone that's generally interested in BTCfi, we'd request you to join the pStake community on Telegram. It's a very easy space to just talk, with the community members, with our moderators, or the team directly as well. Yeah, so a solid month there on the community side too. I think one of the bigger things, Bart, was also this article that we put on Twitter from the pStake side, which talks about this big opportunity or how pStake is on the verge of something big. I think that article, which is also I think the pinned tweet on our Twitter. You can go and check that out. It's a very comprehensive read about the Bitcoin opportunity essentially, and where pStake, both the protocol as well as pStake the
Hmm.
token, fits in. So I think with running some numbers, the percentage of ETH that is staked today, which is and the percent of Bitcoin that's staked today, for those to be equal, I think that'd be like half a trillion more Bitcoin that needs to be staked, which just goes on to show the huge opportunity and how we're just starting about with things, right? So
Hmm.
maybe Bart, you can talk about or touch upon where pStake kind of fits into this opportunity.
Yeah, so I mean, for us, we very deliberately, I wouldn't say pivoted, but concentrated more like on institutions. So I mean, of course, we still have like regular users, but we're creating something a bit more, a bit different for them. For institutions, why are we focusing on them? Is because, first of all, they're here to stay, right? There's a rise in like Bitcoin ETFs that has significantly increased institutional access to BTC, which also like put more attention to BTC. So there are kind of more kind of let's say governments, large players like funds looking at sort of BTC as a hedge against inflation. So they're starting to like accumulate Bitcoin. There's also like public listed companies like let's say MicroStrategy, Tesla, and others. They have BTC on their balance sheet. So definitely, sort of institutions are here to stay, and they are adopting Bitcoin. But not only that, like even when they hold this like record amount of Bitcoin, they also start to want yield, right? Because BTC passively does not generate any return. So they're looking at sort of what we can do. And then kind of our approach is where we allow BTC staking with low risk native yields. That's like perfectly for them to suit their demand, right? So there's a huge gap also in the market for a custom and tailored solution. So, if you look at like CeFi solutions, they collapsed in the past. They didn't have like sort of the best kind of name. DeFi solutions are good, but they introduce quite a lot of smart contract risk. So there is no standardized like BTC staking solution and combined with an LST. And that's kind of the gap that we're trying to fill, for institutions. And they're quite positive about this. Like this idea of generating yield in a fairly secure way with low risk is, that's what they kind of look for. And maybe we can touch upon like how pStake is kind of their preferred solution. I would say there's a few elements to it. There's like self-custody. So one of the biggest concerns for them is if they have to like send their Bitcoin somewhere else, or if there's some custodial risk. And we figured out a way where we don't have to do that. So they can retain control of their assets, but we kind of manage the rewards and we help them with the staking, like from a technical kind of point of view, because a lot of these institutions don't really have sort of the technical knowledge. So that's good. Then, there's native Bitcoin deposit as well. So there's no need for any wrappers, again, which introduces like custodial risk. So you can do direct BTC deposits into Babylon, no kind of, or very low risk to smart contracts again. So this is all good. And then the yield, you get the yield from Babylon, but then we essentially, as I mentioned before, we create these integrations based on their kind of appetite, what they want to do with various protocols, largely around restaking and kind of non-speculative strategies like no lending or like leveraged kind of strategies. So there's no kind of overexposure for them, and it's just kind of a sustainable yield model which generates returns on their Bitcoin, again without sort of too much risk. And all of this combined has put us in a spot where we can really talk to sort of the larger players and just say like, look, this is kind of what we offer, really tailored, exactly what you need, and the results are good. So right now we're sitting on about 300 Bitcoin from institutions, but we have good interest for more. So for us, kind of the growth is there in the next few months. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And it also makes, I think, a lot of things easier overall with the focus on Bitcoin, right? Whether that's scaling TVL for pStake, getting interest from these institutions, or even general marketing and distribution. I think
For sure.
this site particularly has pretty much confirmed that it is an attention economy to some extent. And if you are possibly in the biggest niche possible within crypto, and then you try to stand out, it makes a lot more difference than just sitting in ecosystems that are not that avidly looked at.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but we sort of went into sort of that situation in the past where Cosmos kind of lost a lot of mind share, and with Bitcoin, it's just a better way. I mean, obviously Bitcoin didn't have kind of this capability in the past. Like this has all been introduced lately, but for us to really focus on this, with everything we do, is the right decision. Like I think all of us at pStake are convinced of this, so it makes things much easier and more enjoyable. I'd say to work on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah,
confident we're on the right track. I think crypto favors the patient and obsessive. And I think we're on the
yeah,
right track for sure.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, but to quickly summarize, maybe your personal or the protocols, pStake's three biggest wins from Jan 2025.
Yeah, I would say launching YBTC, that was kind of overdue. So we're happy that this is finally done. And now next thing is kind of integrating this. So that kind of comes with the partnership with Layer Zero, that we had to have this partnership with Layer Zero so that we then can kind of bridge YBTC, or at least move YBTC around into different ecosystems, and then kind of leverage protocols that are interesting for our partners. So I think those two things are very important for us. And then the next, I would say that we have over 9 million pStake tokens staked. So our staking product for pStake seems to work as well. So that's pretty good. So we're going to keep growing this and expand on kind of the success that we've had with this. So yeah, I think those three are good for January. It was a busy month, but we're happy with the result.
Yeah,
Sets us up for the rest. Yeah.
Obviously, I think we had a lot of things cooking in the background as well, which we'll also get to in some time. In terms of the long term focus, I think you touched upon how we're trying to scale pStake as a product with institutions. Where the TVL is kind of going to grow from,
Mm.
how it is going to grow, why institutions are going to prefer pStake. On the flip side, while we have this solid growth on the product slash, I would say, TVL metric, it is also very important to have the same growth on the distribution side, right? I think
Hmm.
distribution as a word is probably used the most in after tech. Crypto is the word where it's used a lot. I think people are
Yeah.
obsessed with distribution. So
Yeah.
maybe from a long-term perspective, how do you see pStake improving this distribution?
So I think we have to find maybe some new channels that we can approach. Like we're working obviously with KOLs, like with partners, like whether it's like marketing channels or maybe there's research reports. Like there's different kind of ways where we can put some attention towards the protocol and towards what we're doing, and that kind of will help. And in addition to that, we're also looking at expanding our sort of sex listings. So we are kind of in talks with a few different partners. So as much as we have kind of good avenues, like we do want to like expand this as well. So I think that is kind of in the works. Aside from that, we talked about it briefly before. Like AI is it's kind of a hot topic, and I liked it. I used to work in it before. Like a lot of others in the team also like it. I think you as well, right, Aditya? So we developed an AI agent that we're still fine tuning. Like it's a cat that helps us sort of talk about BTCfi. And it's so much fun, man. Like it's really great to like work on this and to sort of get something that's like automated and that just like interacts with you and takes knowledge from wherever it can find. Like obviously we kind of feed it stuff, but it's just like fascinating to see how that works. So we just want to like use this as well to create more kind of attention, and that we can help in distributing sort of what we do with pStake and our community, etc. So yeah, I think these are important things for us. So yeah. I think all of that will help to then scale kind of TVL as well with institutions, because that is kind of a major focus as well. Yeah.
For sure. I think besides the sex listings points that you mentioned, like AI, I think the Katoshi agent that we have, which we, by the way, for those of you who don't know, we launched, or rather soft launched an AI agent
Mm.
yesterday. It's actually I just pinned it on the pStake Twitter as well, that you can go and see what the agent is all about, what it's going to do. And I think uh, the most important thing how it's going to help distribution is to be active when the team members are asleep in some way. I think we've
Correct.
seen in the
Yeah.
past few weeks that people, it's become a meme that I've missed out on generational wealth because I was asleep. But
Yeah.
something like AI allows you to not just be active, but constantly be on top of things in terms of
Yeah.
marketing and distribution for yourself, right? So I think it's going to be something very, very interesting to see how it
Yeah. Yeah.
plays out.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because you launch this and you give your AI agent like a character, and then you start conversing with it, and it's just sort of like putting stuff out, and it was really funny to see how it started talking about stuff that we didn't always want it to talk about, even though we didn't teach this. But it's like it's a great kind of experience, and I think it's definitely something that's going to become more kind of prevalent in the future. And with pStake, we didn't want to kind of miss the boat. We want to be there and also like understand how this works and how we can kind of leverage this technology and just it's just again a fun experiment to do. So yeah,
Absolutely.
just
And
yeah,
I think it's great that it's not perfect, that it keeps kind of
yeah,
improving on its own. And
yeah.
we also present it to the world in a stage where, it's not the most perfect thing, but then it also
Hmm.
goes to show that, we are working on something that's new, something that's different, and constantly trying to improve on things, which is amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's just a fun activity for us to do. We like to enjoy our work, so if we can take some stuff like this and bring it into the fold, then great. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Awesome. So maybe Bart, actually a lot of people would like to know what's next. A solid end to the year with pStake getting on Binance Alpha last year. Solid foundation for 2025 with these three main things that we discussed. So what can people expect in February? It's a rather short month. We're already 6 days in it, but maybe you could leak some alpha as well.
Yeah, so I think very important first is that we are deprecating our Cosmos SDK assets. So we had several of them that we launched in the past, but since we pivoted to Bitcoin like about a year ago, it really doesn't make sense for us to kind of keep going with this, like also for our users, because we're just not creating like enough of utility for these SDK assets. So we are deprecating this. So we will announce this. There will be like a mechanism where people can basically convert their SDK assets in the underlying asset. So that's definitely happening. It's going to be a focus for us to do this. Then we have definitely a bunch of YBTC partnerships. So we'll talk with BNB Chain, like there's Corn, Soneum, there's Kernel, Bell, Satlayer. Like there's quite a few protocols that we're going to announce partnerships with, which is great. This is happening. Then we will increase the cap for our pStake staking product. It's nearly full. We're almost at 10 million, so we will have to increase this. So great to see the progress there. And I think like adding to additional community activities is important. Expanding that there. As we mentioned before, distribution is key. So we do want to make sure that this is a major point of focus for us as well. In terms of alpha, I would say that maybe a bit early, but we are also looking at there are other staking opportunities in the market. So who knows? Maybe we'll create like a new avenue for institutions where they can generate yield aside from Babylon. So there are things that we are looking at. It's a bit early, but we will keep progressing. So let's see where that takes us. Not
It's
confirmed.
safe to say pStake will be there wherever institutions are and wherever Bitcoin will go.
Yeah,
We'll be
exactly.
present there.
Like we carved a niche for ourselves. Like it seems like this works, and I think we have to double down and just do what we're good at,
Yeah.
and then things should work out. Yeah,
Absolutely. I know the community has been waiting for a lot of these partnerships to go out, and things can always trickle down. When it comes to the specifics, the overall market as well. But I think rest assured, like Bart mentioned, we have a bunch of things coming. Like I think you mentioned 6 to 7 names. I'm sure there's going to
yeah,
be a lot more after that too.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, and also like sometimes in these situations, it's also not always depending on us. Sometimes we also have dependencies that are sort of out of our control. But I think now, the ball is finally rolling. So I think things will definitely sort of happen in the next few weeks, months, quite rapidly. So yeah, we don't stop. We'll keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good flywheel also, right? You have the YBTC launch, you have interoperability to take it to these ecosystems to partnerships. You have new
yeah,
partnerships. You bring in new TVL. New TVL wants newer partnerships, and then it just
yeah,
becomes a good circle for pStake overall.
definitely. And I mean, and the TVL is substantial, right? So if we get more TVL, like a couple of hundred more Bitcoin, then that's like a decent amount. Like, so if we talk to protocols to do integrations, like they're pretty happy to work with
Yeah,
us. So that all helps. Yeah.
awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
Perfect. We're at the end of the stream. How we'd like to end the stream is particularly giving some shout outs to the community members. Like I said, if you're not the channel where pStake is most active, I would say besides Twitter, because you can't not afford to be on Twitter. I think Twitter for us is mostly about updates and I personally feel, just to try to be on top of mindshare, and we do that through, just normal shit posting, talking about BTCfi as much as possible, as creatively as possible. And the secondary channel for us is Telegram, where we're most active, including the team itself, including the community members. So that's not just sharing updates, but kind of engaging in conversations around institutions. I think a week or two ago we had a very good community chat around Ethereum institutional staking. How
Mhm.
an ETF about ETH staking could really also have a bigger impact on BTC rather than ETH, because people are looking at this BTC opportunity very closely now. So to give, we've kind of want to highlight three particularly in terms of the community shoutouts. So the first is Yusiko and Sky. So these are two people who are very, very active on Telegram. They are always on the feed in terms of wanting to know what's coming next, whether that's on the weekly timeline, daily timeline, actively sharing their thoughts, their inputs on what can we do better, what can we do different, as well as engaging with other people in the community as well. And lastly but not least, I don't know the name, but we will give a shout out to their Twitter handle, which is at the rate FZMM_11. So this person is someone, or this account is someone who posts a lot of AI generated images about pStake. So I think they might just be using Midjourney or some other platform, coupled with their own creativity, and they generate images about pStake, the token, BTCfi. And it's very nice to see have these kind of activities, or these members actively contribute to the community. And as Bart mentioned, we're going to see how we can consolidate this so that we can have more and more members contribute to the protocol overall in a meaningful manner. Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Any
I
final
hope
views
this
or
was oh no, no. I mean, I hope it was good for people, that they learned something new about us, what we're up to, what we've been doing, sort of the positivity in the team, and that we have good plans. So looking forward to the next one. And if anyone has questions, they can send them maybe in the Telegram chat or on Twitter. I don't know. There's ways, but happy to sort of answer those as well when the time comes. So yeah. So thanks for hosting, Aditya.
Yeah, awesome. We'll also put this on YouTube afterwards. So if anyone's missing this, they can go and check it around. It's a quick 30-minute call. I think we'll also try to summarize the conversation that we had through AI and put it in the Telegram chat as well for people that have missed it. But we'll try to do more and more such things as Bart mentioned. And that's pretty much it. I think one last thing before we call it a day is to remember that pStake is equal to BTCfi. I think that's another meme that is, I think, going around in the community. And we just want to say that I think it's going to be something very positive for BTCfi soon. We have Babylon launch coming. We have a lot of
Mhm.
L2s launching. I think that's where the next leg of liquidity will flow to. I think today is a big day
Correct.
for crypto overall as well, with Berachain launching. I
Mhm.
think it's been something that's been coming for a long time. I think an actual innovation in DeFi, and hopefully that
Mhm.
kind of translates to BTCfi as well.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Bart, for your time. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye, guys.